So this is Rebecca Martinez. I'm here at Point Richmond today. It's the 3rd of February. And I'm meeting today with the Arts of Point Richmond. They have a program called
Taking It Outdoors.
Taking It Outdoors, which is a wonderful program, and it's kind of your answer to keeping art alive during the COVID pandemic, isn't it?
Well, it turned into that. We actually came up with the idea before the pandemic and decided we have shown art indoors in some of the businesses and restaurants here and other places. Sharon had an epiphany one day when we were walking down the street and said, I just had this idea. What if we just took art and blew it up and printed it on banners and just hung it on all the walls? And it just clicked. The whole group thought it was a great idea. And
I'm speaking right now with Kenoli Oleari. And Kenoli, why don't we take a second here just to introduce some of the members of your group.
So I'm Kenoli Oleari. This is Dee Bell. This is Ward Bell. This is Sharon Goods, my life partner. And this is George Tomberlin, who has been involved with the project and has been he's photographed us hanging banners quite a bit. So
he's the unofficial paparazzi.
He's the unofficial paparazzi.
Okay.
And he's also an art photographer. One of his images is hanging on one of the banners here, and so he does some great photography.
Yeah, so these are from different artists in the group. We have about over 100 people in Arts of Point Richmond now, ranging from oil painters, watercolorists, photographers, and these are 3 examples of some different types of art that they've done.
We had 12 or I think 14 banners to start with, and then we added some more banners to it because people wanted more.
Take it out to the Arts of Point Richmond folks to see what they would come up with, and then plan to hang a show this past summer of more than 50 pieces in conjunction with another local arts organization that puts on music and takes over the downtown area, and then they have concerts in the park, and just a lovely thing.
That would be so fun.
Yeah, it would have been right here. You can
Yes.
imagine that there would have been lots of
Vendors,
eating and drinking and music
yes.
and art. That was the big vision.
Yeah.
And then the pandemic hit, and so we scaled back and instead of being completely daunted, have rolled out now 2 preliminary phases of the artwork. 14 Kenoli for the first round, and
Altogether, we have 28 banners hanging, and we've gotten requests from people for more banners, so
That's nice.
very well received.
That's nice.
So we're rolling it out in waves.
How do you select which artwork from the submissions you will pursue and turn into banners?
It's a very tough process. No, I'm kidding.
I think we try to get a little of everything.
That's it. We're trying to get a broad. Right, tell them.
Right, a broad range, some photographers. We actually have someone that does weaves, and we have one of theirs that we'll see.
Glasswork.
We have glasswork, jewelry, so
Pottery.
we're trying to get a little of
You'll
everything.
see some of the different things.
Okay,
Yeah.
great.
I'm an oil painter, and I actually painted this when the first lockdown came out in 2020. And it was up in the hills. My husband came with me. We just didn't know what to do, so we put an 8-foot rope around a diameter around my plein air easel, and I just painted away in the hills. And so it's got a really special meaning to me because I was still able to go out and do what I loved and be free even in lockdown. So,
It's a gorgeous piece. The colors are just stunning.
well, thank you.
Beautiful. Yeah.
Bob did a mock-up of our paintings before we hung them, and this was one of the places that he chose as a central place, and it turned out to be a wonderful place to hang images.
Okay.
Initially, we didn't know exactly how agreeable the community was going to be about hanging banners, and so we didn't know exactly what to expect. And we weren't able to get permission from all of the locations.
Uh-huh.
And we thought, well, let's just go ahead and install some, and if we have to take them down, we'll find new locations for them. But the community has been extraordinarily receptive and supportive, and nobody, we've had one or two requests to change them because they were in places the owners didn't want. But we've had a tremendous amount of support, and the community is still asking for more.
That's so wonderful.
Yeah,
That's really wonderful.
Yeah, just last week, one of our members reported that she was in conversation with a couple of the merchants, and they asked for more. And we're learning good things, positive things about it. And one of the things that I think Kenoli knew right off the bat when he suggested the idea was that this would be a great art exhibit where we could go out into our community and reach our artists. We don't have a gallery, and we don't have a place that, lets us exhibit our work other than merchants. We have like 3 merchants in town.
This is one of the early ones, and you can see that it's faded a little bit,
Yeah.
and it's you can see the vinyl's weathering some. But this painting has been up since June,
Yeah.
so it's been there.
That's
quite
nice. And it does look like it gets a lot of sun.
And this is a little salon, and we talked to them, and they were fine with us putting a painting on their
One of
window.
the neat things about this is it's a transparent. There's a transparent element to it when the sun hits.
Oh.
So from inside the shop, they get that sort of diffused image, which is kind of cool. They really liked that.
Sharon, is this one of your pieces?
No.
It isn't?
It's a different Sharon.
Okay.
This is Sharon Taylor Ward, and this is Sharon
Okay.
Goods.
But we
Okay.
have a Sharon in front of us.
All right. Yours are a little more abstract, I think, aren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow, that is so powerful.
It has a great place of honor being in this,
Totally.
exhibit wall. It's like
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's actually a photograph of a piece of pottery, but the photograph itself turned out to be quite a work of art.
Yes, it's stunning.
George's partner Betsy, George, and her collaborators. So those are some sculptural pieces that.
Gorgeous.
Yeah.
They look like salt firing or something, or raku of some sort.
They were working on creating textures. It's fired it just kiln fired, but
Okay.
they experimented with glazes and forms. They were doing.
This is I guess this is an oil painting, and you can see it's kind of an abstract figure. And the man that works here introduced us to the owner, and the owner loved the idea of hanging one on the gate here, so we did that.
Very nice.
This painting is another place you can see some of the weathering of the vinyl.
It's lost a bit of the orange, but it's still pretty cool.
It does look great, yeah.
We talked to some people about that. We actually did a UV coating on it. We talked to them about it, and they said, well, you can put some UV coating on, but the sun always wins in the end. Yeah.
Yes, it does.
Pretty powerful.
Yeah.
So I'm working my way up. I would love
They're,
to.
they're
yeah.
precious.
Well, thank you.
Totally precious.
Thank you.
Yes. Beautiful colors.
That's one of the things that kind of really works with this is that we're able to take small pieces, enlarge them in a way that they don't lose any of their,
Oh yeah, your resolution and everything is spot on.
So
yeah.
it opens up a lot of possibilities for scale.
Yeah.
Photograph coming up across the street on the Hotel Mac,
Uh-huh.
and we just thought it went so well with the red brick. It
It
really
does.
popped out the colors. There's actual brick in the photograph, and it just all tied together so well.
It's beautiful. I love that palette.
Another woman who's been very involved in Arts at Point Richmond over time, and she's quite an entrepreneur, and this is her jewelry. She does beautiful jewelry and does a lot of work marketing it and has been quite successful as a jeweler.
Piece by Fred Martin, who is actually a fairly well-known artist, and he was the dean of the the Art Institute in San Francisco for years, and he wrote for Art Forum. But he's a really cool guy. He's like in his 90s, and he's still painting. And that's one of his pieces. And then we have a weaving over here done by Rebecca Riley, which the photograph actually works really well.
Yeah,
of
it's
the
nice.
weave. Yeah.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Now this was in our early plans when we were thinking of hanging 100 or 150 banners. This fence and the fence you can see at the end of the street there in a minute was one of the things we thought about, because we needed to find places for a lot of banners, and we thought, well, fences could be a great place. So these are the first two banners that are hung on fences, but this is one of the things we're thinking about for the future, is we hang more banners.
This is the last word. Glasswork and ceramic.
Glasswork and ceramic?
And ceramic.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Does Sharon do ceramics, or is it just glasswork?
Just glassware.
Oh, just glasswork. Sorry
Fused
about
glass.
that.
Yeah, it looks like fused
Fused
glass.
glass.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
This is a photograph that I took. That's what it looked like. That I took at a museum in New Mexico. Wonderful little outdoor courtyard. And I've always found it difficult to take pictures of sculpture. But this particular day, instead of trying to catch it in the round, giving depth, I just walked by this and realized that the shapes and the light and the composition was all there in 2 dimensions.
This is one of the show banners that announces the show. This was the first one that we put up. And this is Alpha Humphrey, who's the founder of Arts of Point Richmond, and a wonderful woman who she just endowed an annual award, which Arts of Point Richmond can give out every year.
That's wonderful.
And the other show banner, which has Sharon's art displayed on it, is across the street. So we're going to go across the street and show you that one.
Okay. Beautiful photo, too.
This is a piece of mine, and this was the banner for the second encore of the show. And my work is kind of like dark whimsy.
Yes.
So
that's a good description.
Yeah.
This illustrates the way that the images were able to catch the sense of glass. It's pretty impressive.
That is a fantastic photo. Yeah, look at the dimension on that stained glass. Well, is it a fused glass or a...
It's fused glass.
Fused,
It's
yeah.
fused glass.
Yeah, very nice. And so appropriate to your area here.
Yeah.
Yes. This is actually a photograph of a book cover, which illustrates the fact that Arts of Point Richmond isn't just visual artists. This is a writer. We have several writers, and we have a poet who was the poet laureate of Point Richmond at one point. And she rewrites historical novels in the present time.
Yeah, this artist has an amazing ability to capture the animal's feelings. And she does several animals, so I really admire what she does.
So this is Chandra Renee Walker, and she does some really interesting, multi-level, multi-image juxtaposition things that are really cool.
There's a great little story that goes with this. Part of the history of artists borrowing from other artists. We went out to breakfast with some artist friends of us. She was very excited about telling us about the work she had planned for our next art tag project. And I got excited about it, and I went and borrowed the image she was talking about. I told her about it, and I thought, because we in this project, art tag, where we share pieces and inspiration for other pieces of art, I thought this might just work as a compound art tag project, because I'm borrowing from her and we'll both be producing something, and who knows what's going to come out. It'll show the diversity of art. So I stole her image.
Okay.
But
with her knowledge.
Yes, with
more
her
or
knowledge.
Less, yeah.
And she actually produced something completely different for the art tag project, which sort of demonstrated my idea that, we go out together and we see completely different things.
up and under is our local pub, and this is one of the people that wants more banners. He said, put them all over my building if you like. So we are going to tastefully keep adding banners to his building because why not?
Kenya used to be the cultural director for the city of Richmond. And as cultural director, she oversaw a project that hung banners on light posts all the way down the street over here next to us. So we're thinking about hanging some banners on light posts in downtown Point Richmond, and she's a consultant to us to help figure out how to do
Great.
See, this is our best traveled banner.
Ah.
It's been floated all over town before it finally found a home back here, right next to the artist's own shop. She owns the mom and pop shop here. I'm trying to remember the backstory for it. It tells you all you want to know about a certain era in California.
Yes, it does.
I love this banner. And when we first hung it up, we hung it up across the street on the gate, and it was just gorgeous there.
And we had permission from Guillermina,
Owns the property.
and little did we know that a tenant actually owned that area.
It is always a story why somebody,
Yeah.
you know.
So she didn't want it, and we moved it, as Ward said, it traveled around town. We moved it over to the fence that we showed you before. And we liked it over there, but the
Somebody
artist
didn't like it.
over there. And talked to the owner of the pub here, and he said, sure, hang it up right there.
It's nice.
And we
It's
weren't
nice
sure what
there.
to do because,
I like it here.
Yeah.
I like it here. And I like
It
it that
looks
it's
really
close to
good.
home.
yeah, it's good. It's all good. Although we realized at that point that if we got into the situation where every artist got to decide where their banner went, it could turn into a nightmare.
All right, well, I have to say this has been a very, very pleasurable tour. You all have done an amazing job of bringing arts and culture to your precious Points Richmond historical area. And I don't blame you all for being very proud of your project. And is there anything I've forgotten?
Only that anybody in any town who looks at this and says, I'll bet we could do that. Yes, you can.
Yep. That's
Right.
what we're hoping, yeah.
Great closing.
Yeah. So,
And come back after the pandemic because there'll be more banners up, more artist features.
One of the things that's exciting to me about it is we looked on the internet and there are cities all over the world that are hanging banners, and they're mostly hung by city governments, and they're really well funded, and some of them are 40 by 40, and we like the fact that we just put this together and we got a little help from a
Grassroots.
local foundation.
Yep.
And we just made it happen. The artists actually pay $35 of the reproduction costs for each banner and get the banner after the show. And it's just worked out. It's been like a real homegrown project that it didn't take a huge, civic effort to make it happen.
yeah.
It was all inspired by Sharon. Congratulations.
Yay!
Thank you, Sharon. And thank you all.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Nice meeting you.
Thanks to you. Thanks
Yes,
for
thank you
coming
very
down.
much.
Yeah, it's
We
my
really
pleasure.
appreciate it.
My pleasure.
Well,
So
you
here
can
we
see,
are.
yep, you can see I'm in space. Rebecca's on the beach.
Yeah.
My name is John, by the way.
And my name's Kenoli. I
Excellent.
guess you know that.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Yeah.
So we're going to talk about the what it is you're up to with the Point Richmond artist.
Mhm.
Okay, great. And I'm all ready to show you around the studio here when you're ready for that.
We're ready at any time.
My partner, Sharon, who is an artist, and I'll show you some of her art in a minute that's hanging
Okay.
on the wall here.
Perfect.
We've been working with Arts of Point Richmond, which actually is a little ways away from us. It sort of has a reputation of being sort of an arty community. It's kind of a upper end community on a little hill overlooking the bay in San Francisco. It's a beautiful place to live, actually.
Mm-hmm.
And we were associated with an art kind of and it was a storage space where they converted some of the storage spaces into studios, and we got a studio there and we're involved with them. There was some idea of building an art community there, and we ended up connecting with the people from Arts of Point Richmond, which is nearby there, when we had a studio there. And so we connected with them, and we ended up leaving Bridge actually, and got more and more involved with Arts of Point Richmond. And Sharon had a show over there, with them, and we were walking around town, and Sharon said, you know, I think it would be kind of exciting to blow up a bunch of art and put it on banners and hanging up all around town.
Uh-huh.
So we came to Arts of Point Richmond with that, and they got all excited about it, and everybody was really jazzed. And we ended up applying for a grant. There's an interesting Arts of Point Richmond Foundation, which in the course of saving a little railroad station that Burlington Northern and Santa Fe wanted to do away with, they actually moved the station to a lot in Point Richmond and started fixing it up. And the Mechanics Bank, which is sort of our quote unquote community bank, came along and said, we're looking for a place. We'll pay to have that station renovated and lease it from you.
Wow.
And they said, great. And so every year now they save all the money that Mechanics pays for a lease and they give it away to groups in Point Richmond. And so we got a little $3,000 grant to get going. And the pandemic sort of threw a monkey wrench in the game like it did for everybody. And we sort of thought, well, I guess we can't do that. We were planning on hanging 150 banners up that first summer and allying with or connecting with, working in conjunction with Friday night, first Friday of the month music festival that Point Richmond throws. It's a fantastic event, actually. People come from all over to it and hang out in the streets and listen to music and drink wine and margaritas and stuff. And
Nice.
so we actually went to some of those music festivals early on, and we had a child's art booth and some things like that. But we were going to partner with them. They were excited about partnering with us, and we were going to sort of coordinate everything through that. Well, they shut down because of the pandemic. And we said, oh, well, we'll just do it next year. And then we decided a couple months later, why don't we just do a preview? We'll just put up some art and that'll let people know what we're doing and get people interested. So we hung 12 banners at the beginning of this last summer after the pandemic had started. And people loved it. They were really excited. And it turned out to be perfect for the pandemic because people could come look at art outdoors and in a safe environment. So we hung up another bunch of banners, and now we've got 28 banners hung up in town.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
And everybody's been very receptive, with a few exceptions. That's essentially what the story is. And we, my partner Sharon and I, here, I'll show you around the studio and explain some of this while we're doing it. The printer that we're using here is actually part of the art practice that we're doing. And I'll just show you a few things around the shop. This is a Epson scanner. It's an 11 by 17 inch scanner, and we scan everything on this. We scan great big paintings that way and print them out different sizes.
Yeah, very
And
creative.
This is one of the banners that you'll see when you go to Point Richmond. These are our two show banners. This is actually one of Sharon's pieces of art that we've turned into a.
That's one of the images that's on the event.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, it is. So this is one of the posters. And then this over here is Alpha Humphrey, who was the founder of AOPR. And that's a picture of her. And we turned that into a poster also. When we started this whole thing, we decided we were going to have to figure out how to get high definition prints out of everybody. And a lot of artists don't know, high definition from anything else,
Yes.
JPEG from a TIFF or whatever.
Right.
And so we had figured we were going to have to work with him to get the prints we needed. And he agreed to take on the three-dimensional stuff like the sculpture, and the rest of it we tried to scan here. So we're doing both things.
Yeah.
And then once we get these onto vinyl, you can see what we've done here is we insert these grommets.
Yeah.
We either hang it using grommets and cable ties. These are some of our cable ties. And we've got black and white cable ties. The black cable ties we use, we hang a lot of stuff on. It turns out like wrought iron fences and things like that. And the other art that we can't hang with grommets, like hanging it on windows or a wall or something, we've discovered some very strong double-sided tape. These are more traditional grommets that we use that are plastic, which is kind of nice because they don't interfere with the artwork that much. And we've got this great grommet press, which came from Turkey. And we go like this. And then we have sort of a traditional grommet.
Very nice.
But more recently, we discovered that somebody came up with another grommet, and these are the ones we've ended up using. They're you can see it just kind of pulls off of the backing. It's got adhesive, and then it just goes onto the vinyl like this. Stick it on one side and fold it over on the back, and then we have a punch where we come in and punch a hole. And there you've got a grommet. And supposedly, according to the people that sell these, it's actually a lot stronger than the other grommet because you have a larger area that's holding it.
Yeah.
And they also have a kind of tape that you span across the top between the two, between the grommet on one side and the other, and it's supposed to be very strong. So that's pretty much this end of it, and it's been really nice having the printer and being able to the printer here, so we can just print our own stuff. And what we decided to do is, people told us they wanted us to charge a reasonable price for printing. We were ready to pretty much do it for free, which is what we do a lot. We don't really consider ourselves a commercial gilet shop. We're artists, but so what we're doing is we're charging $65 a banner, which it turns out is not a super amount of profit. It seemed like it at first, but there's a lot of expenses in this. The tape's really expensive, and we've had to reprint a bunch of banners and things like that. And so what we did is the artists themselves pay $35 towards the banner, and AOPR covers the rest of it.
That sounds like a good deal.
What size is the banner? What size are they?
Well, they're all different sizes. They're kind of in the general vicinity of 40 inches. It turns out that vinyl comes in a 42-inch width, which is a little smaller. We could print 44-inch if they did it, but it's just the standard vinyl width. So we're limited to 42 inches in one direction. The other direction we can go as long as we want. But the one here, you can't really tell. The one that I showed you here, let me see. Let me hold it up for a second.
Okay.
Can you see that like that next to me? So that's a pretty good sized banner. So some of them are you know, they're sort of 40 by 50 inches or 40 by 30 inches, depending on the site. So what we've done is we've gone around, we walked all over Point Richmond, and we looked at all the places we thought would be a great place for a banner. And we measured the sites. We did all kinds of reconnoitering, and we created a spreadsheet and figured everything out, and what kind of, you know, what it was going to take to hang it on the surface. And then we printed all the banners. This is the only thing that's written on the banner. You can see this is the artist's name and a email link to our organization. And this is the little Arts of Point Richmond logo that somebody made for the group.
Yeah.
There's a little tower that looks like that on a local church that kind of stands out in the community. So that's where that came from.